Watch this.
An abrupt retirement left Ada County without a sheriff. Now, with 3 finalists in the running and a selection deadline nearing, we're hearing from 2 of them. In its heyday, it boasted some of the best entertainment in the Treasure Valley, but for years, it sat nearly empty. Now, Ada County commissioners are offering some suggestions on what to do with Expo Idaho. It made its way through the legislature and to the governor's desk and later signed into law. Now, though, Idaho's Supreme Court will decide if Senate Bill 1110 is actually constitutional. And welcome to the 208. I'm Joe Paris. Brian's on some type of a vision quest, so he will be back tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about this. By the end of this week, we are expecting to know who the next Ada County sheriff is. You may remember at the end of May, the now former sheriff, Steve Bartlett, abruptly announced that he would retire effective immediately. Now, an official reason for his resignation has not been made public, but Bartlett did say in a note to his employees at the time that he was leaving his office to, quote, attend to a couple personal items. And with the vacancy, it became the job of the Ada County Republican Central Committee to pick 3 names as the nominees to be the next Ada County sheriff. And from there, the 3 Ada County commissioners will vote on their final choice. But before they do, they're going to hold a public interview tomorrow for all 3 candidates, Doug Tromb, Mike Chilton, and Matt Clifford. Now, final decision is expected Friday afternoon of this week at the latest. But before that, we wanted to give the 3 candidates an opportunity to answer questions and explain why they believe they're best suited for the job. Today, Mr. Tromb declined an on-camera interview for now, but he did give us some thoughts in a statement that we're going to share with you in a few minutes. We were unable to connect with Mr. Chilton today, but we are expecting to hear from him tomorrow when he and the other candidates answer questions in a public meeting with Ada County commissioners. But today we did hear from current Eagle Police Chief Matt Clifford. If you didn't know, Eagle actually contracts with the Ada County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services. So Mr. Clifford is actually currently a part of the Ada County Sheriff's Office, and he's worked there in several different capacities since the year 2000. Now today, Clifford tells me that he believes his resume and experience makes him the best candidate for the opening. Experience is key, but fresh eyes to a department can also be valuable. With that in mind, I asked Clifford if he is named sheriff, where he thinks the balance is between maintaining how things run now and making big changes.
I would never take the stance of keep things the way they are, because we have to always be improving, especially in this business. If you want to keep things the way they are, you're going to move backwards in time. People will run you over and you'll get lost in the dust. But I will tell you, this agency runs efficiently and has a very strong, positive culture that in turn provides service to our citizens in that way. There's no switch that needs to be flipped by somebody that comes and steps into that sheriff position. All we need to do are make some tweaks and keep us on the right road to moving forward into the future and becoming better. And that's why the agency is the way it is. Very well respected. These people work hard. They love their jobs. They love to serve the citizens. So I'm going to be more of, hey, we need to make some tweaks. You never want to sit over here at, I'm not going to do anything, but there's no big, we need to fix this problem that exists here in this agency.
It's no secret, across our country the last few years, law enforcement has been in the spotlight, and quite frankly, a lot of the times it's not for good reasons. We've seen troopers and officers and sheriff deputies put in very delicate situations, and sometimes they don't do the right thing. One thing we hear from our community is we believe that the ethics and the way officers and troopers should conduct themselves comes from the top down. What message would you have to the community as sheriff in terms of assuring them that there are strong ethics within this department and you're confident that deputies will do the right thing?
So I think that comes from 2 things. One of them is the great work that all of our employees do right now, whether that you're a records clerk or a detention officer or a patrol officer. People see the good work we do and the good decisions we make, and that shines the light on the integrity of the agency. I've worked here for 21 years, and that integrity piece is embedded in you. If you are an employee and you stay with this agency, you have to have integrity. It's something we don't take lightly. So I think my track record here as well will speak to that. I'm very transparent. I'm very open about the things we do here and why we do them. And I think that in turn explains to the public or helps the public see our integrity that we have. There's no keeping anybody in the dark. People want information, and there's no secret as to what we do and why we do it.
In our valley and really across our state, you see much different leadership techniques in terms of leading, the police, chief of police, the sheriff. You have a guy like Chief Ryan Lee who's just coming into it for Boise Police, and he seems to be a little more soft-spoken than someone like Sheriff Donahue in Canyon County.
Right.
And you'll see Sheriff Donahue at the state legislature being very outspoken on politics and big-ticket issues. What type of sheriff do you see yourself as? Someone that would speak out or be kind of more quiet and lead behind the scenes?
Well, I really like that question because if you were to sit with me for an hour and have lunch or something like that, then you probably know most things about me. I am more of an outspoken person. I'm an extrovert. I like to talk to people. And so I kind of see me leaning a lot more towards the Kieran Donahue way of law enforcement of, hey, here's what our agency stands for, here's what I stand for, lots of transparency. There's usually no mistake in interpreting where I stand on things and what I'm thinking.
And as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, Sheriff nominee Doug Tromb, he respectfully passed on an on-camera interview with us today, but he did share a statement with us. I'll share that with you right now. He says, quote, "I appreciate the patience of so many in the media. I've not responded to the majority of attempts to reach me as this process demands my full attention. The Ada County GOP Central Committee provided 3 solid candidates. I am honored to be one of them. Of course, I believe I am the preferred candidate," and the majority agreed. "With 1 day remaining in this process, I choose to let it run its course. If I am selected, I will certainly be available soon after," end quote there. And Tromb worked for the Ada County Sheriff's Office from 1994 to 2003, and he also worked as an investigator for the Ada County Prosecuting Attorney's Office from 2003 to 2019. His campaign website includes several endorsements from current and retired members of the Ada County Sheriff's Office. Again, we were unable to connect with Sheriff candidate Mike Chilton today as well, but according to Chilton's bio, he's an instructor with the West Ada School District with an emphasis in law enforcement, and West Ada School District tells me this afternoon that Mr. Chilton has been employed there since 2011. He previously worked for more than 15 years in local law enforcement and is also a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. Again, we're expecting to hear from all 3 candidates tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to bring you insight from the 2 candidates we didn't hear from today, Doug Tromb and Mike Chilton. So join us for that tomorrow. Now, earlier this year, Ada County commissioners asked the public for their thoughts on the future of Expo Idaho. I'm sure you've been there with your family, but if you haven't, it's the massive 240-plus acre plot of land over in Garden City. Now, today, it is home to the Western Idaho Fair, Hawks Memorial Stadium, and several traveling shows and expos that we see come through the area each year. Just last week, though, they released a result of the Expo Idaho survey. Over 3,500 people responded to a question asking about what the future should look like there. A majority says that they believe that the Western Idaho Fair and Expo Idaho should remain at its current location. They don't want to see it moved. But what happens now? What happens with these survey results? Well, Katya Stepovic caught up with an Ada County commissioner to get their reaction and insight on the future of the property.
Located at the intersection of Glenwood and Chinden Boulevard, this lot is home to a lot of memories and home to the biggest event in the Gem State, bringing in over 250,000 people every year.
People are used to going to the fair when they were kids, taking their kids to the fair and taking their grandkids to the fair, right there at that location, and they love it.
It's been a talker for years. What will happen to Expo Idaho in the future? But now Ada County commissioners and some members of the public believe that it's time for the 247-acre lot to get an upgrade.
It's an uncut gem, and we want to make it a star shining diamond for the community, for the citizens of Ada County. There's lots of potential there, and I hope we can gain the untapped potential.
I've been out here for 22 years, and we've gone through several different exercises like this.
A recent survey from 3,500 Ada County residents found a pretty common theme, one that 86% of those surveyed agreed on.
I was really kind of surprised, though, that a 9-day fair that people wanted to keep there, particularly when you have a lot of agricultural Pieces come in, not pieces, but animals, I should say. That's a little difficult to be pulling your horse trailers and stuff in and out of that place. And so that's the only one that I was a little bit surprised about.
I've been to a lot of fairgrounds. I've been to a lot of different multi-purpose facilities. And most of the best ones that survive are the recreation entertainment meccas.
There are 3 scenarios Ada County is proposing: expand recreation, event, sports complex, expand agriculture and outdoor education, or develop a mixed-use city center. In the survey, the public ranked their interest on those additions, but Ada County Commissioner Kendra Kenyon says there's room for all of those improvements while also keeping the Western Idaho Fair.
This is almost a magical piece of property because it is so large and it is so attractive and has so many different components that opportunities are really endless there. And we certainly can keep the fair, the 9-day fair there. And I think not only keep Expo, but really expand on Expo and start really taking a look at what else can we do with those events year-round, maybe year-round farmers market. We have the facility there, food truck rallies.
And no, selling the entire property is not being considered right now.
People in Idaho, they really like to own, special assets like this. And so I don't see this going into the hands of an outside developer. However, having said that, I think for sure it's going to take a public-private partnership. What that looks like could be longer-term leases, things like that.
When this first started out, people were all worried that this might be a developer's grab because it is really a valuable piece of property. I mean, it's 247 acres. I'm sure there's 25 developers that buy it in a heartbeat. We don't want that. We want it to maintain its public purpose.
Ada County Commissioner.
And I think we lost the end of the story there, Katya, but I just wanted to clarify with you. Do the results, are they finalized now, or is there still time for people to weigh in? Because I know that this has been a conversation, the centerpiece of our community for years.
Well, actually, Joe, the short answer is no, and that's because they're still wanting to hear more from the community. So the survey will actually be live and active until September 1st. And Ada County will also have a booth set up during the Western Idaho Fair in August, showing, of course, all of the possible redevelopment options and, of course, answering any questions they may get. So they're still looking for that community feedback now until September. And then the final results of the survey, those will be released on September 3rd. Joe.
All right. Well, Katya, I know that you'll be following that, and we'll keep our community informed as the process goes on deep into the future. Idaho's controversial voter initiatives bill got a hearing by the Idaho Supreme Court today. Have a controversial topic you want us to cover? We're not afraid to get our hands dirty and uncover the story for you. Make sure you tell us about it. You can do that via text message. Send it here, 208-321-5614. Make sure to include your name and the hashtag #the208. We saw opening arguments this morning for 2 lawsuits challenging Idaho's new voter initiatives bill. Governor Little signed that back in April, you may remember, and it's the law that expands the requirements for voter initiatives to get on the ballot here in Idaho. Now, previously, signatures from 6% of registered voters in 18 of Idaho's 35 legislative districts were needed to qualify a ballot item. Now, under the newly signed law, groups need to collect 6% of signatures from registered voters in all 35 districts to get on the ballot. Now, those in favor of the new law say that the new law makes it so that every part of Idaho is included in the process. But those against the new law, including Reclaim Idaho, which is the group that was able to get Medicaid expansion on the ballot in 2018, well, they say it would make it nearly impossible under the new law for anyone to get an initiative or referendum on the ballot. So they filed a lawsuit against the state. And so did Michael Gilmore, a retired Deputy Idaho Attorney General. Now, he says that the Idaho Constitution specifically grants 2 fundamental rights to the people. 1, the power to propose legislation through initiative and referendum, and the power to then enact it. So again, this was kicked off this morning with arguments, and here's a brief summary of what went down this morning.
The evidence shows that the prior requirement of qualifying 18 out of 35 districts was a severe burden, and the 35 out of 35 geographic distribution requirement is now the most difficult in the country and a practical impossibility. Citizens are having a difficult time exercising the right. By making it twice as hard, it stands to reason it only gets harder. That's not a way to make the right more accessible.
So then where would the limits be then? If they change the 6% to 25% or 50% or 100%, as someone suggested earlier? I mean, are there limits, and how do we determine where those are?
There are limits. The first limit is set by the reasonableness language in dredge mining control, and that means that the law must be reasonably related to a legitimate state interest. And here the law is reasonably related to a legitimate state interest because it serves the interest of ensuring all of Idaho is included in the initiative and referendum process.
What does 35 accomplish that 18 didn't accomplish?
One must get all 35 of 35. That's the only way of ensuring that all of Idaho is included.
We've talked in the past here on the 208 about just how many voter initiatives and referendums have actually gotten on the ballot in the Gem State. Since 1996, or in the last 25 years, there's been 10 voter initiatives and 4 referendums that have made it to the ballot. Of those, 2 initiatives passed: Medicaid expansion in 2018 and Idaho's state tribal gaming compact in 2002. That's about a 90% failure rate, and that's with the old law in place. Again, that was only 18 out of 35 districts needed for signatures. Now, there were several congressional term limit initiatives that actually passed in 1994, 96, and 98, but those were deemed unconstitutional, with the latter one repealed 4 years later. The justices are expected to issue a written decision in the next few weeks. Of course, we'll keep you posted. In the meantime, there is an effort underway by the Committee to Protect and Preserve the Idaho Constitution to overturn the new law via a referenda. However, there is some confusion over if it can actually happen that way, because under Idaho law, a referenda can only be proposed 60 days after the legislature has adjourned for the year. But as we know, only the Senate adjourned. The House is still technically in an extended recess over at the big building downtown. Nobody there, though. And Reclaim Idaho is currently circulating a new initiative called the Quality Education Act, which they tell us would generate over $300 million for education annually by increasing taxes for corporations and Idaho's wealthiest residents. Again, an official decision from the Idaho Supreme Court did not come out today, but we will keep you posted. When Brian is away, we break out the porta potty stories, but who are we kidding? Brian did that kind of last week as well. But we're going to bring back a John Miller favorite at the request of our viewers. You have a request for us? Let us know. And while you're at it, make sure to send us whatever questions or comments you have about the show. Here's the number, 208-321-5614. I'll look out for your text. And make sure to include your name and the hashtag the208. We're going to share some of your texts at the end of the show. For about 12 years, the Boise River Festival brought thousands of people to Ann Morrison and Julia Davis parks for a week-long event. This was around the time from 1991 to 2002. I know many of you are familiar with the River Festival. Some called it America's finest family festival, with hundreds of entertainers, vendors, fireworks, food, and of course, the River Parade. But thousands of people meant that you needed lots of restrooms for them to use, as is human nature. As it turns out, Boise had to get pretty creative with the plastic orange porta potties, with even more impressive. A viewer remembered this going back a long time. Now, John Miller, they say, did a great story about porta potties during the Boise River Festival. His tagline, "This John," brought to you by Miller, hashtag the 208. And thank you to that viewer for sending the message in. So in an ode to the long defunct Boise River Festival, and as a thank you to our unnamed viewer, here's John, brought to you by John Miller.
Visit the Boise River Festival and you'll find they've painted a rosier porta potty picture than in previous plain old orange years.
We're calling them Artipotties.
Artipot. Oh, that's a great name.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yes.
See, the whole thing was my idea anyway.
Oh, is that right?
Well, not directly, but you know.
There was that time before the New Year's celebration when I suggested they find potty sponsors, like, for example,
This John, brought to you by Miller.
What do you think?
I like it.
now the Porta people have an even brighter idea.
So this is a great way of opening the door to some great new Boise art.
Yep. It's actually a contest.
John O'Donnell's entry took him only 45 minutes.
You painted the woods.
Yeah.
Too bad he forgot the bear there next to the spacemen.
You expect that yours might get a little more attention because it's a tranquil nature setting?
Which leads to the larger question, now that the porta potties are painted, which public painted porta potty will the public pick to use?
Oh, well said.
Will they prefer to drive the bus or be king of the castle?
Oh, you know, I think if I'm desperate enough, I'll take anything, even if I don't like the art.
Right. We're noticing that some users are having trouble making the adjustment to the painted version.
Well, what do you think, Jamie?
Fine.
Fine.
A fine example of form and function, 10 choices in all.
I either have to go the one with the trout,
or he can go in outer space.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I really do.
John Miller, Idaho's News Channel 7.
I'm curious how many of you remember this. Feel free to send us a message into the KTVB text line and tell us. But I want to tell you this. There's another reason why we decided to air this redial package today. Last week we had not one, but two stories that had to do with porta potties. You may remember one was during last week's big windstorm that actually had some of you sending us videos of those unoccupied thrones. We watched them go flying off into the wind. Quite a spectacle. And you can actually watch those videos on our Facebook page right now, the 208 on Facebook. The second potty piece we brought you was a picture from after the storm. It was a rainbow leading to a pot of gold, if you will. There it is. And we're going to end our porta potty coverage for you here with one more viewer picture from Patrick, who also found the elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk on porta potties. We'll be right back. All right, let's wrap this baby up with some of your comments. We got one from Lee. Says, I watched the Supreme Court today, but no one noted that rural voters are represented in the general election. They say that these legislators are just power hungry. And Lee touches on something that people have pointed out, that even if you're not part of getting a ballot initiative on the ballot, everyone does get to vote in the full election. We got one more. Real quickly, someone's asking me to take over for Brian. I won't. He'll be back tomorrow.